This is a chicken curry you will fall in love with. The color, the taste, how smooth the curry turns out. This is a classic Hyderabadi style green chicken curry but made with a healthy twist. Much less oil and the spice is kept nice and mild. It takes just about 40 minutes and uses spices that you already have in your kitchen. And the jade green color comes from just two herbs, coriander and mint. Welcome back. Sorry for the long gap. Schools have reopened and you know how it goes from there. The main ingredient here is of course chicken. I'm using around 900 grams cut into roughly 3-inch pieces, except this leg piece which is a little larger. But if you are using very large pieces, make small cuts in the flesh with a knife so that the flavor can soak in easily. We'll do a very simple marination here with just salt, lemon juice and a tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste. Mix all these ingredients well and the salt, the acid and the enzymes from the ginger and garlic will tenderize the meat and it will also take the poultry smell away. The ones that I'm using here are pieces that are on the bone and these bones they give a nice lovely stock like depth to the curry. So if you're using boneless pieces like chicken breast, then you might want to add some chicken stock to it. Once the chicken is mixed well with the marinade, cover it and set it aside while we prep everything else. There are no spices we are marinating with, so you don't have to do an overnight marination. Just about 20 minutes or even less is more than enough. This curry uses a small amount of nuts and it could be any type of nut, but I'm using here cashew nuts. In the traditional recipe, it's sometimes mixed with almonds too, but before we use it, we need to soak this cashew in hot water to speed things up. In cold water, it can take about 3 to 4 hours to soften, but in hot water or warm water, 10 minutes is just about enough. While the cashews soak, let's prep the green curry paste. And the first herb that we will need here are the mint leaves. But before you use them, pull the leaves off the stem and discard these hard stems away. Once the leaves are ready, rinse them once and add them to the blender jar. Next, add about twice the amount of fresh coriander leaves to the blender. Even here, try to remove those thick stems if there are any. Now, throw in a few green chilies. I'm being very conservative here, so if you like it hot, feel free to add some more. And since yogurt goes in later in the recipe, 2 or 3 chilies won't make this dish blazing hot. Now drain the soaked cashew and add them too. The cashew brings a rich creamy texture and it helps to thicken the curry so that it clings beautifully to the meat. And like I said, cashew nut is not the only nut that you can use here. You can swap it for walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, or even a mix of all these nuts if you like burning a hole in your pocket. Finally, add about a quarter cup or 4 tablespoons of water to help the blender do the blending. Blend this into a smooth paste, one that flows easily but isn't runny, and that's why it's very important to go easy on the water when you're blending. I usually warn a lot about what you need to be careful of, but whenever you're blending a paste with aromatics or nuts, keep it on the thicker side. The flavor will stay more concentrated that way. So all the prep is done. It's time for the cook in you to finally wake up. Bring a large pan to medium heat and add about 3 tablespoons of ghee. Mustard oil, peanut oil, olive oil, or even avocado oil, they all work well. But ghee here should be the oil of choice. I'm going to add just 2 whole spices to this warm oil. Cassia stick or dalchini and whole cumin seeds. Ideally, you would add cardamom, clove, black pepper, or even mace for deeper aroma, but these whole spices they stay in the curry and biting in isn't always a pleasure experience for everyone. People in my spice course had always complained about exactly this particular thing, so I thought I'll show you the alternative. Once the cumin seeds starts to crackle gently, add about a cup of finely chopped red onions. Stir often and cook until it's translucent and golden brown, and this can take anything between 3 to 4 minutes. But you need to stir regularly so that it doesn't catch or start to burn too quickly. Because remember, we are using very little oil. The traditional recipe uses a lot of oil, which is why you don't have to stir so much there. Once the onions look soft enough and the color is also a little deeper, add the ginger and garlic paste and cook for about another minute or two until the sharp raw smell of the ginger mellows. Next, add the marinated chicken and mix well. This helps the onions and the fat coat the chicken evenly before the ground spices go in. Stir and cook for about 3 to 4 minutes, and you will notice that the outside of the chicken is lightly seared. And this is when we will add the ground spices, and it's not a whole lot of spices. We'll keep it really humble and use the most common spices. So add about 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, and 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder to keep it a little mild. Mix this all well and add about 1 teaspoon of garam masala, and this will make up for the clove, cardamom, black pepper that we had skipped in their whole form when we were blooming the cassia and cumin seeds. We'll add a touch of garam masala more at the end, but for now this is enough. Once the spices are mixed thoroughly, keep the heat on medium and cover the pan. This will let the chicken cook in its own steam. But remember, you have to stir every 3 to 4 minutes so that it cooks evenly and it also does not burn. You will also start noticing each time you are opening the lid that the natural fat is starting to separate from the chicken, which is a good sign and it means that you are on track. Right now, the curry still looks fairly ordinary, just your regular masala base. So that jade green color that we were talking about is still waiting to be added here. So hang on, that will come up next. But we need to cook this chicken for at least another 10 to 15 minutes until the chicken is around 80% up. So to test it, you can press it with a spatula and it should give in a little. It should not feel tough or rubbery. And don't try to surgically attack every single chicken piece. In the end, you will end up with minced meat and bones in your curry. So once the chicken is about 80% done, this is when the green mint, coriander and cashew paste goes in. Along with it, add about a quarter cup of yogurt as well. This brings in the tang and the sourness and works really well instead of using tomato. The yogurt also adds fat and richness that makes the curry very creamy. Cover it for a couple of minutes more and let it simmer. And the next time you stir it, you will notice this green that we have been waiting for. And I wish you could smell the aroma of the herbs as they are cooking. And this is honestly one of my favorite things about Indian cooking. You can do very minor modifications to an existing recipe that you know and completely transform it. And in my recipes, I'm also very careful about how much oil and how much spice I use. And if this kind of take on classic recipes is something that you enjoy, I'm launching an online healthy Indian cooking course. The waitlist is open and the link is in the description. Come, join us there and we'll learn a lot together. And if you're not subscribed yet, please remember to do that because it genuinely helps our channel keep going. Alright, back to the recipe. We will let it simmer for around 10 minutes more, and as it cooks, you will see the fat separating from the yogurt, cashew and the chicken, and that's a classic sign that the chicken curry is done. This is also a good moment for you to taste and adjust, not your apron, but the salt, and add about half a teaspoon of garam masala here for extra aroma. And if you're allergic to coriander and hate it, or mint is too pricey or very hard to find wherever you're living, you can blanch the spinach leaves and use that instead. It won't be the same recipe, of course, but you will get the green color and the method will more or less remain the same. One spice I've always loved finishing with is freshly ground black pepper, which is completely optional, but it adds this nice lemony peppery lift. Cover and simmer for 5 more minutes, and you can see now how smooth and silky the gravy has turned out to be now. And it simply slides off the spatula. This is exactly the kind of consistency you're looking for. Turn off the heat now and finish with a dash of lemon juice. And in no time, while you are still drooling, your green chicken curry is ready. And with spices that most of us are very much aware of and will mostly have in our kitchens. This is a dish that goes really well with steamed rice or soft rotis or naan. And if you're someone who is meal prepping, this keeps very well in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days and still holds on to that green color. It doesn't become gray or something. And when you reheat it, add a splash of water, about a quarter cup or so, not too much, because the cashew, they will keep thickening the curry as it sits. So if you're trying this, I would love to know how it turned out. So drop in a comment below, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.